It's a great day and good morning and welcome to CSL Denver, a place, a space, and a face of love, a spiritual community teaching ancient wisdom and applying universal principles to empower our lives and the lives of others. Now, that song that Susan just sung about one small step is perfect for the theme of this month, I believe, which is how do we do it? We've been talking all year so far about this grand rising, this new beginning, this way of looking at things differently. But more importantly, the way of being different, because you can look at something differently and it might not move the needle one iota. But for things to change, for us to move in a place where life is grand, we have to do something. We have to do something. And so today we start this month. And as Susan said, I look out the window and I see the sun is shining, and I even saw a couple of flowers blooming or budding. They wasn't blooming. They'd probably be in trouble if they were blooming. But they were definitely budding, thinking about a new beginning, a brand new day. How many of you today can envision your new budding? Your ability to step into life with a brand new start. You know, we plant the Easter lilies and all these different things, and once they're gone, they look dead. But they wait, they sit there and they go within and they analyze and they, dare I say, sometimes they criticize themselves about who they are and what they are, and how do we begin to move into this new way of living with a brand new day. Now imagine if you could do that every day. Every day you woke up, you asked the question, what's good today? Think about where you were this morning. What was the first thought that came to your mind when you woke up? Was it exuberation for the day? Were you stymied by something that happened yesterday and you just could not and cannot let it go? And you spent the first 30 minutes wrestling. I should have did this as opposed to that. They made me mad. I should have said this and not that. Or even worse, how many of you are filled with anxiety about tomorrow and the day has barely gotten started? Ask yourself that question every day. When you wake up, what am I thinking about? What am I creating? What am I allowing to move within my sphere of control so that I don't see this as a new day? Because believe it or not, every day we wake up, it is definitely a new day, a new start, infinite possibilities, a way to, as they say, transform. We hear that all the time. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Transformed by the renewing. Now what that really means is you got to have, as our founder said, you got to have a new thought. You got to have a new way of looking at things. Not clouded by what happened yesterday. Yesterday wasn't my best day. I'm going to start again today. I know it wasn't my best day because I didn't get my Cheerios that morning when I woke up. Y'all remember that Cheerios commercial? You got to, if you don't get your Cheerios in the morning, there's no way possible for you to have a good day. But now the real question becomes, what is your Cheerio? Is your Cheerio a nice piece of music in the morning? Is your Cheerios a walk around the park? A moment of meditation? What is it? that helps you remember, to remind you, to sometimes kick you in the pants to say, this is a new day, my friend. This is a new day. And if you're blessed enough to get up in the morning, and if you can't go for a walk, just sit in your backyard, or if you don't have a backyard, if you got some trees, look out the window right at dawn. You'll see the interconnectedness of all things in this brand new creation. Tomorrow morning, just before the sun starts to peak, check to see if you hear the birds starting to sing. Just, sun is not up. It's just that little thin white line on the horizon that reminds nature itself, oh, brand new day. We are all interconnected. Let's start singing some bird songs, and the squirrels start getting involved in life with a fresh start. The bird is not worried about the worm it didn't catch yesterday. The squirrel is not looking for the nut that dropped yesterday. They are looking for brand new opportunities. They're looking at brand new things. It's a chance to redefine who they are and to have an impact on the world. Now, I hate to do it, but I'm going to do it. I hate to remind us of all of the going-ons, and I'll just leave it at that we see the world over. You know what they are. I don't need to enumerate them. But what I do need to say is this. It's time for a change. It's time for a new day to emerge. We have this ancient book from Egypt called, incorrectly, the Book of the Dead. That's not the name of that text, that sacred text. The name of that text is the Per Im Heru, which means coming forth by day. They look at it as a ritualistic death ritual, and it has that ability to serve that purpose. But what it's really talking about in a symbolic language, which we see all over the earth, it's speaking to a way of engaging life so that you are reborn, that you have a new day every day in gracious gratitude for taking that breath, for being able to see. Now, bring up that first slide, if you will, that speaks to this. It says, I rise to meet the new day, filled with confidence and strength. I rise and go forth into the dawn, inspired and refreshed by the living spirit within me. That should be the goal every day. And if you don't remember anything out of this talk, remember there is a living spirit within you that it's going to rise whether you up for the charge or not. Because that is the presence of the divine in each and every one of our lives that allows us, that beckons us, that waits for us to wake up to a new day, to our greatness, to our connectedness, to our working together as a family of humanity. It's a new day. We have to begin to do this. We have to begin to get away from this idea of separations and differences, because at the core, we're all the same. We all want the same thing. We want to be happy. We want to have a good meal, a nice place to sleep, a chance to actualize the unique gifts that God has given each and every one of us. Another question to ask yourself, are you helping that cause, or are you hindering that cause? Are you your brothers and sisters' keeper? Because we have the ability to move beyond anything that seems remotely out of sync, unconnected, divisive. If you get that next slide, this is from Isaiah 40:31. It says, but those who trust in the Lord will find new strength. They will soar high on wings like eagles. They shall run and not grow weary. They shall walk and not faint. But you got to trust. You got to trust that there's a divine inspiration throughout the world. And every morning you wake up, I don't see how you could miss it. Next time you wake up and miss the sun, even when it's cloudy, let me know. God is always there, always rising, always looking to create a brand new day. The question is, are we? Are we ready to stop the suffering that we see? Are we ready to create opportunities for those who seem to be less opportune? I say that we are. Spring is a reminder that every year we get an opportunity to say, wait a minute, how do I get out of this fog I'm in? It's not creating the tapestry of life that I see in nature. Now, if you know me by now, you know nature is my ultimate sacred book. There is no answer that can't, no question rather, that can't be answered by observing nature. That is why in almost all spiritual traditions, there's this creation of the moon and the sun and the stars and the animals. And at the end of all of that, before we were on the scene, God said that was good, that it was good, that there was a tapestry that stuck together. There was an interconnectedness. There was an understanding of each and every thing on the earth, unique presence, unique gift. That's what a new day is about. It's about finding that gift. It's about bringing forth that gift. It's about knowing that no matter how good or great I think my gift is, I need somebody in relationship to understand that, or to push me beyond a barrier, or to connect with me to make it even greater. A new day. A new day. So once we've decided that we're going to wake up with a smile, and let yesterday be yesterday, and let tomorrow take care of itself, we can focus right here, right now. Right here, right now. And so I want to leave you with a couple of ideas about this awakening to a new day that we do every day, whether we want to or not. I'm saying that twice because I forget, and I know I'm looking at mirrors, whether it's in this room or online, that have the same issue of waking up sometime and just being grumpy. Just cussing at things from yesterday, or the anticipation of what's happening today. And I ain't even got out of bed. It's like, wait a minute, stop. So here's some tools. The first thing is to establish a morning ritual. Now, if you don't have one, create one. If you can't create one, go find one. But most definitely, you have to start with the morning ritual. And it's yours. You don't compare it to nobody else. You know, some people say, oh, my morning ritual, I get up, I make a fresh pot of coffee, I grab my paper. And some people might look at that and say, well, that don't seem too spiritual. Everything is spiritual. This routine is to remind you of your greatness, of you and the connectedness to all things. So you're going to have a practice that establishes your center. That if I can get that third slide. Gretchen says this. She's a snowboarder. She's a little spitfire. She says this: I learned a few years ago that balance is the key to a happy and successful life. And a huge part of achieving that balance is to instill rituals into your everyday life. A nutritional balanced diet, daily exercise, Time for yourself through meditation, reading, journaling, yoga, daily reflections, setting goals. Now, whatever calls to you from that, or if it ain't on that list, go find what calls to you so that you get centered. Establish a ritual. Establish a ritual. It causes you to go deep. If you start a ritual, and if any of you have a ritual that you've been with for a while, you can't do a ritual surfacely. You can't establish a habit on the surface. To get those things established in your life, they have to go deep, which means you have to practice. You have to put the time in. You have to question it sometime. You may have to tweak it sometime, because you're not the same person you was yesterday, nor will you be the same person when you leave here today. It's a brand new day, every moment, really. Because right now I can ingest the sights, the sounds, everything I see, and it will make me show up right now differently than I did a moment ago. Something may have tweaked my perception. Something may have made me mad. But whatever it is, we have a brand new moment, a brand new day to make a difference, to display our greatness. And that leads to the second key. You got to recognize your uniqueness. Stop trying to be somebody else. Even if that self or that person is the self you were yesterday. If I get that next slide. You are original, an individual, a masterpiece. Celebrate that. Don't let your uniqueness make you shy. Don't be someone other than the wonder you are. Every star is important to the sky. Every star is important to the sky. Now, I don't know if we have any sailors in the audience. At one time, I had this vision of sailing, getting a boat, a little 32-foot sailboat, and sail down the coast in the islands and go scuba diving. So I'm certified scuba diver. I got certified for sailing and basic navigation. And one of the things that they insisted, although we had all of the compasses and all these things we were doing the navigation course, learn to read the stars. That was the command. Now, they say, now this compass, especially these digital compasses with GPS, boy, they'll lock you right in. But sometimes the GPS ain't working the way you want it to be. And you need to have another source. And that's why in this quote it says, every star in the sky is important. If one is missing, if you will, my navigation will be off. What are the stars in your life that you are not letting shine? What gifts that you are specifically brought here to guide me, but you ain't shining the light? You got to recognize your uniqueness. You have to be able to not run from yourself. How many of you run from yourself every now and then? Something happens and you gone. You are out the building. Because I think we said it last week, that quote that's from Marianne Williamson, who am I to be great? Who am I to be special? Who are you not to be great or special? We're all children of the Most High God, coming forth by day, every day for a brand new beginning, to connect, to love, to show empathy, to be compassionate. To who? To what? To everything. To everybody, the bird, the trees, the person, yourself, because it's connected. I don't know if you haven't had a chance to go and view the new movie, about Bob Marley, One Love. If you have not had a chance to see that, I compel you to go and see that movie. Two things stick out in this idea of recognizing your uniqueness. The first thing, the title of the movie is One Love, right? Which is, if you go to Jamaica or you understand anything about the Rastafarian spiritual practices and way of life, one love starts with the phrase that you may hear them say all the time, I and I. I and I. And if you don't, if you don't understand that language, you'll be sitting there with a confused look on your face. What are they talking about? I and I. Well, the term I and I means unity and interconnection. So I don't do a separation, I and you, or you and me. I and I, we're one to the same. We're mirrors of each other. We're all disseminating from a spiritual idea, a spiritual love, a spiritual compassion that is unity. One love, one heart. That's what we are moving towards. If we want to live a gracious life, if we want to live a grace, it doesn't mean that we won't be faced with trials and tribulations. Right now, as the buds are beginning to feel the warmth and then the beginning to feel the newness of the day, there's a little pressure on that bud. The ground has been frozen, snow has packed it down, there's a little pressure. But that bud understands what it means to be into a new day. It understands that it is through this pressure that I'm able to stretch my wings. As it says in Isaiah, I'm able to soar on the wings of eagles. I can run and not be tired. I can walk and not faint because I understand each day I'm recharged, I'm re-energized. And once we can grasp that idea, the idea of having a ritual, a morning ritual, not that you don't have an evening ritual, but a morning ritual to get you started on the right path. And you recognize that my uniqueness allows me to bring something to the day that has never been and will never be. The next thing and the most important thing is you got to decide. You got to decide whether you're going to show up or not. You got to decide, is the day the real new day? Or was I just playing with myself? Oh, I was just kidding. I ain't ready for that. What you gonna do? You gotta, look, the day is gonna take form and do what it's gonna do, regardless to whether you're ready or not. So, one thing I tell my kids, my grandkids, anybody I can see, I say, it's better to have an opportunity and not be prepared. I said that wrong. It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. It's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. That's what this morning ritual is about. I'm preparing myself for the day. I'm looking forward to whatever comes. Good, bad, indifferent. But whatever happens, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I don't want to get to the point to where somebody comes and say, look, this is your lucky day. Whatever you've been waiting for, wishing for, thinking about, today is your day. All you need to do is so and so and so. And you start thinking, I ain't ready. I did not prepare. I did not get my morning ritual on, so I'm going to have to let that pass to somebody else. And when that happens, either way, it's a great metaphor for a new day, right? If it happens, you said it's a brand new day for sure. If it doesn't happen, now you have the opportunity to let yesterday go because it's too late now. You got to go look for the next opportunity. So we get that next slide. We've been gifts with the gifts. I wrote that wrong, didn't I? Power of choice in action, our thoughts, our words. The quality of our life gets better or worse depending on which direction we go with our choice. I apologize for that. I had to make these right this morning because I lost all of my PowerPoints, but that's okay. It was a moment for me to do a new day. It was a new moment right then. Without cursing myself, which I did under my breath. How did I do that? But it gave me an opportunity. So every opportunity is this grand occasion for us to start anew. Because when we don't, we wallow in it. We create barriers from it, whether it's between me and me, I and I, you and you, other people, other things. And that is why today and every day, and even this moment now, is the perfect time for a brand new day. Are you ready to let go of the differences, to let go of the comparisons, to let go of all these things that keep us mired in unwantedness? I don't even know if that's a word, but I'm going to make it up. Unwantedness. Because I know I want a good life, whatever that is to me. Stephen Covey says this: I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. So the question is, what decisions are you going to make today? What decisions are you going to make in the morning? Because when you begin to do that as a ritualistic program of newness, of awakeness, of aliveness, your life, my life, and all life will change. I'm going to read this closing. As we stand on the threshold of this brand new day, may we carry with us the awareness of who we are and recognize our place in the vast family of humanity. Let the dawn of this day illuminate our path toward one love, one heart, one direction that allows us to come together as one human family. Let us make each day a testimony of love and compassion and newness for this thing called life. Let us pray. Heavenly Mother, Father God, the true aspects of a new day, a new beginning, a new birth, that power that knows the ins and outs of all things, that allows each and every one of us to bring forth the gifts that has been given. And because we are trusting this divine power, this divine intelligence, we are now surrendering ourselves to a higher power. Not a power that's separate from us, but a power that is within each and every cell of our body, which is in every thought that we think, which is in every action that we do. But now the time has come for us to do this consciously. It has come the time for us to grab hold of this thing called divine love and spread it all over the land. And so I know right here, right now, and I declare for myself, everyone in this room, and anyone that may be online or hear this later, that today we make a declaration of one love. We make a declaration that each moment of my life, and for sure each new day, I will look at it with a grand purpose, with an open heart and willing hands and feet to move me in the direction of my dreams, to allow me to be first and foremost upright with my relationship with God that has given me a purpose, a direction, and a destiny to create life in harmony with all things. And so it is in that harmony, it is in that ingrained feeling with all things that I give thanks. I give thanks for this time, for this opportunity, for this moment to move beyond where we are to where we should be. And so with that, I release, I let go, and I know that this is absolutely so. And so it is. Amen. And so one thing I want to just leave you with is a call to action. Now, you know we got to have a call to action every week. Now, this week, the call to action is take time to create your day. Envision what you want to happen. You see what happened when I make these slides right at the moment, don't you? Happen, and journal your results. Take time this week to get up in the morning and create your day. Envision what you want to happen. Think about how you want it to unfold. And then journal and begin to see how much power you have when things fall into line, unbeknownst to yourself. Just put forth the intention, and God will take care of the rest.